Shalom to you from oneforisrael.org. This week's Torah portion is called Bami드바르, which means in the desert. It begins as follows. The Lord spoke to Moses in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tent of meeting, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they had come out of the land of Egypt. According to this verse, the Israelites have been 1 year at Mount Sinai. The time has finally arrived to break up camp and to go to the promised land. This Torah portion, the first 4 chapters of Numbers, deals with matters that are crucial for Israel's journey. Who will fight in Israel's army? Who will tear down the tabernacle and set it up again? Where will the tribes station themselves around the tabernacle? These passages teach us an important spiritual lesson. Life with God isn't just about the final destination. It's also about the journey and the manner in which we make it to the final destination. Sadly, the first leg of Israel's journey through the desert to Mount Sinai didn't go so well. Complaints like, "I'm thirsty," "I'm hungry," "I miss Egypt." We will see in the coming weeks that the second leg of Israel's journey through the desert will be even worse. Don't the desert places in our lives bring the very worst out of all of us? A pastor friend of mine once told me that he only preaches toothpaste theology. Whenever you squeeze the tube, what's on the inside comes out. The bad news is, what comes out of us in life's deserts is what's really inside us. Israel's journey through the desert is a spiritual mirror for all of us. So if Israel's journey through the desert to the promised land was marked by constant failure, what hope is there for you and for me? It sure would be nice to find someone who would make the desert journey on our behalf. Well, this week's Torah portion does in fact turn our attention, even if ever so subtly, to God's ultimate solution for desert survival. Did you happen to notice that the tribe of Judah keeps popping out in quite prominent and unexpected places throughout the Torah's story? For instance, the next to the last chapter of Genesis focuses on a future king from the tribe of Judah, who will bring blessings to Israel and the nations. The tribe of Judah also pops out of the pages in Exodus, where Bezalel from the tribe of Judah is chosen by God to build the most important tent in history. Surprise, surprise! The book of Numbers also puts the tribe of Judah in the spotlight. God places the tribe of Judah right in front of the entrance to the tabernacle. We read, "Those to camp on the east side toward the sunrise shall be of the standard of the camp of Judah, by their companies, to the chief of the people of Judah, being Nachshon the son of Aminadav." And guess which tribe is chosen to lead the march to the promised land? You'll have to wait till Numbers chapter 10 for the answer. Why does God keep pushing the tribe of Judah into the spotlight? Because of Judah's special role in God's redemptive story. Judah's place of prominence in the Torah points to the God's way of providing the ultimate victory in the desert. Though Israel failed to trust God in the desert, God eventually raised up another Israelite from the tribe of Judah, who like Israel was brought out of Egypt, Matthew chapter 2, who like Israel passed through the waters, Matthew chapter 3, and who, unlike Israel, completely trusted God and defeated the devil in the desert, Matthew chapter 4. When we place the tribe of Judah in the most honored place in the camp of our lives by accepting its most honored member, Yeshua's victory over the devil in the desert and his victory over death itself becomes our victory. Please join us next week for another installment of 5 Alive, wishing you God's shalom from Israel, and don't forget to share.
Our ministry, One for Israel, is an initiative of native-born Israelis on the forefront of media and high-tech evangelism, boldly proclaiming salvation to Israel. Raising up leaders and equipping them with the tools they need to transform our communities. We also provide humanitarian aid to Holocaust survivors with the love of Yeshua. Join us as we share the gospel in Israel. Become One for Israel.